Yes people, what is happening? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Deadwood series. This is episode 11 of season 3 and it is called The Catbird Seat. Last episode, Mrs. Ellsworth was walking through the town and one of the Pinkerton agency actually fired on her. At first we thought this was a failed assassination attempt, but then it turned out later they were actually just trying to draw out Mr. Ellsworth into some sort of conflict. I don't know what their endgame was going to be in that situation. Like, were they gonna just kill him to get to Mrs. Ellsworth or beat him up? I have no idea how they planned to finish that situation, but regardless, Al got Dan to tie up Mr. Ellsworth so he couldn't go after him straight away, had a talk with him, then had a talk with Mrs. Ellsworth and told her she should walk to the bank as normal so that Mr. Hurst can see. So she walked to the bank, nothing else happened, she got in there okay, and Mr. Hurst did notice and that pissed him off, of course. So this led Hurst to send the leader of the Pinkerton gang round to see Al, and he had some sort of proposal. Al offered them into his office, which I jokingly at the time mentioned as like, you know, what he used to do when he stabbed people. I did not expect him to do that to the Pinkerton guy, but he took him in his office, beat the living shit out of him, went onto the balcony, said hello to Mr. Hurst, went back in, slit the guy's throat, then went back out onto the balcony and asked Mr. Hurst how his back was. That is the biggest W Al has had against Mr. Hurst so far. It was an absolutely glorious episode. I'm expecting this one to be the fallout of that, so I don't expect this to be as cheerful as the last one was. I imagine Mr. Hurst will want some level of revenge, and I expect it to be exacted in this episode. I hope it's not too brutal. Regardless, I'm looking forward to this and cannot wait to get into it, so let's do it. This is episode 11, season 3, The Catbird Seat. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. We saw the doc coughing again last episode, by the way, but I was thinking about it, and you know what? This is episode 11 of season 3. Even if he dies now, my man has basically made it to the finish line. It's been a great character to have in the show. It would be tragic if he did die, but I'm so happy his character made it to the final tail end of season 3. There's a few people I think that way about. Jane and Charlie Utter, there's a few people we've been blessed to have all 3 seasons. Is everyone up late tense because they expect Mr. Hurst to do something?
Quiet.
I noticed too, stupid, we're each of us breathing in and out.
She extended a hand, offered the conversation piece, her best attempt to have some sort of equal friendship with this man. And of course, he cuts her back down with a sarcastic prick comment.
Knowing him, for an errand maniac, I'll still not believe Bullock doubts me.
Al did say to Mr. Hurst that his guy just took off and left, but there's no way Hurst's gonna believe that. This must be the explanation of the tension. Everybody's on edge like they're expecting the doors to come bursting in at any moment.
You couldn't stand losing a couple of fucking pounds.
Unnecessary thing to say to the woman that sucks your dick, Al.
Whom do you speak?
Why are you walking backwards?
The ink's not yet dry, and I'd have your immediate attention to the article at the top right corner.
Stop fucking moving that.
Thank you.
They cut away before we got to see the article. That's unfair. Maybe Hurst has printed a response.
Only taking the air.
Oh, go away! I'm at prayer.
I wish we got to learn more about this Shaughnessy character. He's such a tightly wound but interesting dude. And he's interesting because he's paper thin but tightly wound. Like, he will have boundaries, but at the end of the day I feel like if someone said, no, I'm not doing what you said, I'm doing my own thing, Shaughnessy would just like duck his head and accept it. He tries. He's at a constant battle with the respect he receives from others.
Short of accusation, do I waft the odor of complicity in Hurst's direction?
Give me the telegram.
Settled not only upon his clothing, but...
Who printed that?
On our way means they're getting drunk and blown in some saloon in Cheyenne and running their mouths about this big...
Silas knows he's in trouble. I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, but I believe Hurst has intercepted the telegram Al sent asking for more troops, and now it's just like common knowledge. Did I get that right?
That I stand immobile these hours later speaks of a flaw in my will.
It definitely does. On top of the fact that you have literally yet to wash your face.
I'm going to fuck you up.
I hope Farnham does fuck Host up. Also, an interesting thing about Farnham's character is, because he's so cowardly, we get some of his innermost thoughts, and because of that, some of his best monologues when he's by himself, because he says all the shit he wishes he had the courage to say to the people's faces when he's in rooms by himself.
The meeting per se is what he'll not be kept from.
Jack Langrish, he's alright.
That's all Al ever says about Jack. It's basically Al instantly vouching for him.
Will you drink?
No, thank you.
I will.
So these guys are new men Host has called into camp. Are they more Pinkertons?
Under very specific circumstances, we'll wire you to make early return.
Any further shooting, out of the ordinary. Like at Miss Ellsworth, definitely.
To be fair, they're looking for loopholes, but that genuinely is a good excuse for the sheriff to return to the camp.
The camp's irreplaceable now.
He don't need no further encouragement in that way of thinking.
Seth has fallen into the sheriff role with a natural grace. I love Jack's character. As I've said many times, it's such a, strange addition. Again, I always try and think of this shit as a writer, and, to add this character in this season is a strange choice, but it works very well. Host looking satisfied and excited again. That's never good.
Us recognizing his connection to the one who left does not mean he was present.
I just came to say goodbye.
She's being so petty about this. I'm sure she's not getting replaced just because he's hiring this other lady to the theatre.
He hates me.
No.
This is ridiculous.
I was well received in Denver.
Yeah, very well received.
Is that all she needed? A little ego boost?
He doesn't miss much.
He misses everything.
I disagree with that. I think he's quite a sharp guy.
And what are you doing now?
Praying for my loved ones.
How nice. Lucky them.
They are lucky. Richardson's a good guy. I'm not sure that Antler is having much of an effect, but if he believes it is, I'm happy for him.
What is transpiring that we need guarding from? What memories must that have brought back?
Dogs are great listeners. They never offer any good advice back though. Ignorant pricks. Oh shit! Those fucking pricks. I knew Hoss was not going to take this lying down, but I can't believe they just did that. Fucking hell, Ellsworth had done so little to deserve that. I mean, I know he was anti-Mr. Hoss, but he was nothing to do with Host's bigger schemes and plans for this camp. He wasn't in the way of any of them. Maybe Host believes Mrs. Ellsworth would be more likely to give up the gold claim if Mr. Ellsworth wasn't there to persuade her not to. Regardless, that is cold-blooded. He was such a nice character. Oh well, looks like it's Miss Garrett again, two-time widow.
Doubts about his incompetence and veracity, and mine in turn about you that I allowed to fucking vouch for him.
Silas deserved that. Al really needed something to go his way to establish any sort of power. If it was an army against an army situation, and if what I think has happened, Silas has just completely fucked that up for everyone by picking the wrong guy.
What's your purpose here?
Seth silently seething as always.
We're here for the election. Maybe gonna exercise a franchise.
Is Host bringing more people into camp just so they can vote in these upcoming elections? What a sneaky prick. My first thought is, I really hope she doesn't start doing drugs again because of this. She needs to think of Sophia right now and just try her best to go on. And Host was right on his balcony waiting to see Al's face when he saw the body.
He got stuck.
Is he gonna kill him?
Ready for fucking Freddy? Hurst let his dogs loose. Davey, get to the rush and tell him to wire Sturgis.
It is kicking off now.
I want my child.
I'll go get him now. Mr. Ellsworth's been shot.
Oh no, I feel like everybody's in danger right now.
What did I do to that poor man?
You didn't fucking shoot him. And don't be going off into fucking hysterics, huh?
The tension banjo was going fucking apeshit in the background. And that's gotta make Trixie feel like absolute shit, because she was so adamant that Mrs. Ellsworth wed him to begin with. Is Trixie just going to straight away kill him? Oh shit!
Cover those things!
I like how Farnham knew exactly what was going to happen there and he just let her on up. He is clearly still Team Al at this point. As much of a snake as he is, like Cy, spitting in his face will fucking hurt him. See the difference between Farnham and Cy? Cy would have took getting spat in the face and still been a little bitch about it.
The fucking shot hurts, and I don't think I killed him. Shoot me or he'll do for all of us!
I admire Trixie doing that, but Horst definitely isn't dead, and she is in so much trouble now if she stays around. She might just have to leave camp after that.
There's a difference between fat-ass snatch and a fucking petticoat.
Why is Cy so angry about this situation? Is it because he knows that he's gonna have to go to war with Horst?
Ain't it great to have a fucking bow?
The only thing I can think is he's just annoyed because he knows this is now officially war and he is in danger just like everybody else because it's a war.
Law-abiding persons will be secure in their rights and their property.
Seth must just feel like there is no point to this if he's aware that the election is now being rigged by Horst bringing extra bodies into town to vote. And why is that prick so concerned where Seth's going? He's the one rigging this shit.
He's dead! Dead! And that my hands are the next thing to it.
He is not dead, unfortunately. It looked like a shoulder shot. It wasn't the heart side of the chest if it was the chest. I hope the doc finishes him off with poison. That would be glorious.
How bad was he hurt?
I'm not sure.
Well, how bad did Trixie say he was hurt?
Al had his fingers crossed there.
4 steps removed, no fucking closer.
He's not even mortally wounded. It's just a shoulder hit.
I'm a dead man.
You ain't gonna be alone.
And he's making a point to walk straight through the thoroughfare with his chest out, letting everybody know. Instantly trying to take dominance back.
Boy, that breaks fucking news.
I mean, knowing everything we know about Horst, this is a death sentence for Trixie. She needs to literally leave camp if she wants to survive.
Your idea, her coming here?
After she did what she did, was it your idea to have her do that?
All right.
Al quickly accepting defeat there after that point had been brought up.
Loopy fucking cunt.
That literally means I love you in Al language.
Mr. Utter's come with the child.
This is now like the holdout house. This is where they're gonna make their last stand. All the gang is here except maybe Jane.
I guess maybe I'll just stay instead.
Oh shit, she's choosing to stay and watch the kids over joining the rest of the gang. That's a bit of character progression for Jane.
Go ahead, knowing I appreciate less enthusiasm.
Don't save him, Doc. Finish him the fuck off.
I expect my attacker was a bawd connected somehow to the man in back before he married so luckily.
Well, he's pretty on point about who he thinks is behind it all. This is the single worst thing the Doc has done this entire show. I know he values people's health over everything, but in this scenario, fucking poison him.
Having seemed to issue from so near to my recumbent ear.
You are not mistaken, sir.
Well, it's taken 3 seasons, but at this point, I'm low-key starting to love Farnham. He's a lovable rat.
God damn it, Richardson! You're too ugly to be sneaking up on fucking people.
From Mrs. Marchbanks.
Oh, fucking hell. Julian Richardson being friends would actually be great. They're 2 people who do a lot of hard work but get ostracized often by their bosses.
And Ellsworth butchered today means her to understand Hurst will not cease endeavoring to do.
Mrs. Ellsworth is in trouble just now. If she sticks around, she's just going to get killed if she doesn't give him the gold claim.
Mr. Ellsworth's with God now, Sophia.
Still can't believe they just shot him like that. So many people in this show deserved that before him.
I was flanked by a boy half my size.
Jane is an absolute natural at that job though. I don't blame her for wanting to stay.
Where's Mrs. Ellsworth?
Above with the child.
With the child.
I fucking heard you.
Seth's gonna wanna just straight up arrest Horst again, like he did a few episodes ago. Because as sheriff, he can't just want to go to war like everyone else will. He has to take some sort of restrained approach to revenge here.
Bullet removed uneventfully.
Let's pray he avoids infection.
It's kinda crazy that as much as Al would love Horst to be dead, he fully accepts that the doc didn't do anything nefarious and did his job professionally.
Will you excuse me for a moment, darling?
Sophia clearly still cares about Seth as well, because she remembers him being there when she was younger. And Seth is kinda like a, not a real father, but a father figure to Sophia, while at the same time having lost a real son, which was also not his. He's a father figure to quite a few of the kids in this camp.
Are you certain that she saw her family dead?
Wow, this is a throwback question. Why is the doc asking this?
The child was found inside a hollowed-out tree trunk, some distance from the others.
Does the doc not think this story's legitimate?
Having been savaged by wolves, those hours later, by strangers.
I see his point. Why is this relevant though? Maybe he was just trying to put things in perspective a bit for Mrs. Ellsworth.
Shlanta.
It's definitely a shot of whiskey day in the gym.
Thought you was near pitching a tent and setting up housekeeping over on that first step.
Sound like a pig my cousin run off with.
Charlie wins that little verbal exchange.
Cocksucker hadn't shareholders. You could murder him while you adjusted his back.
It's cool to see everybody in this place getting along. I love almost all these characters at this point. Seth gave her a fierce look there, like, why aren't you opening the door? I am carrying a human.
I'm gonna take Mrs. Ellsworth home.
As you think best.
Wait, when he says he's taking Mrs. Ellsworth home, where's he taking her? To Shaughnessy's? He's definitely not going to take her to Farnham's hotel, where Mr. Horst is.
Passages between their places, only Shaughnessy knows.
At least she's got a good little hideout. Shaughnessy is many things, but he has yet to show himself as a snitch.
But to bring the matter home as grave, it'd make a case for her selling her claim, not to jeopardize the tranquility of your own hearth.
Al still mentally is a couple steps ahead here. He knows Horst isn't going to make another direct move at Mrs. Ellsworth at this moment in time. What will Mr. Horst's next play be though? Just to sit back, rig the elections, that's him happy now, he expects her to sell him the claim?
People scurry about, they've tasks to perform, they feel important.
He looks in way too good a health for me considering he was just shot. I was at least hoping him to be, bedridden for a few episodes like Psy or something, but no, still on his feet looking down on the camp. Saul is risking his life for some pussy tonight.
Right with you, Woo. In there. First door. Yeah, in there.
Oh, he's back in his traditional gear. Nice. It's the return of classic Woo. Vintage Woo.
Them that ain't lining this fucking hallway like he's the tallest, best-looking white man ever got fucking lucky. Better prepare for a fucking beating.
Makes his instructions fairly clear, does Al.
Woo. Back Deadwood?
Is Woo going to be the secret weapon here? Can Woo summon an army of Chinese people to Deadwood? That would be amazing.
I'll be trying to conceive some practical use for your countrymen's arrival.
This would be so epic if fucking Team Woo come in clutch in this final battle.
150 Chungko cocksucker. Switching.
Shut the fuck up, Woo.
150 as well, with guns. That is an actual army.
Hang die, fucking Woo.
This has got to be one of the best friendships in this entire show. I absolutely love Alan Woo's friendship.
Woo, big man.
Woo is definitely a big man. He's the Don. Now that's the look of a man that has a plan and is not yet defeated. Okay, and that was episode 11 of season 3 of Deadwood, the catbird seat. And I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, the catbird seat, what did I think of that? Wow, this has been 2 epic episodes, one after the other. Last episode we got Al beating that Pinkerton to death, and this episode started with the tragedy of Mr. Ellsworth getting taken out by the Pinkertons. So fucked up, man. I mean, when you think about his character, yes, he had strong opinions about Mr. Hurst, and you could argue that he played a part in her not selling him the gold claim. That being said, in the grand power structure of Deadwood, he isn't a key piece on the chessboard. He's just a low-key dude, does his thing, enjoyed being a family man for Mrs. Ellsworth, literally took that sacrifice to avoid an awkward situation between their and Seth's family. All he was really doing was looking after her gold claim with her and being a good husband and a good father to Sophia. He wasn't jockeying for position, he wasn't trying to apply for greater roles in the community, he was just an everyday guy, but because he was connected to Mrs. Ellsworth it made him a target and they took him out. The one thing I'll say is at least I guess he didn't suffer. He didn't know much about that, he just caught one in the head and that was all she wrote, so at least he went out somewhat peacefully. The one thing I will say is, trauma exists in animals as well, and that poor dog will remember seeing that shit for the rest of its fucking life. That dog will never trust a human delivering a monologue to them ever again. And after I saw that, I had no idea where the episode was going to go from there. Obviously, I was expecting Mrs. Ellsworth to be distraught, which she was, but of all things, I did not expect Trixie to just be like, you know what, fuck this, go upstairs with a little pistol, trick Mr. Hurst into opening the door and then getting a shot off on him. It was absolutely incredible she did that. The only thing is, obviously, it wasn't even a mortal wound, let alone a wound that even kept him in bed for a few days. The doc removed the bullet for him very professionally, of course, as you would expect from the doc. He's all about lives. He's not really about the morality of the human he's saving. His job is to save humans and he will save you and let, you know, justice or revenge deal with you as a human being, but he is trying to save human beings. So you can't hate on him for successfully doing the surgery, but obviously we all wish he just fucking injected him with 100 milligrams of ricin or something and just ended the prick right then and there, but alas, it was not to be. And then everyone kind of holed up at Al's place waiting for the response, which didn't come. But I'll tell you one thing, we've had a little bit of a dialogue-less subplot this season with a balcony war, if you will. Al has always watched over from the balcony, demonstrating his, you know, low-key ownership and control of the camp, looking down on everyone. And this season, Hurst has challenged him with that. At first it seemed quite insane when he knocked through the wall on the hotel to create a little place to sit, but now it completely makes sense because he is directly challenging Al's ownership and control of the camp. So he wanted his own balcony to look down on and to look across at Al to from time to time. And it was a great punchline last episode when that was used to Al's advantage, but Hurst definitely got the one up this episode because he was on the balcony waiting to see Al's facial expression when he saw Ellsworth's dead body. He was literally waiting to see the facial response to a dead body being carted through the thoroughfare, and oh, he looked so satisfied when he got to see it. He is such a piece of work. The one good thing is, I mean, if this Wu thing is actually real and Team Wu come through, this could be a huge ace up the sleeve of Team Al. If Wu comes back to camp with 150 Chinese people all armed, I mean, I don't think even Hurst can match those numbers, or at least it might be an even fight. Regardless, I cannot wait for the finale next week now. Shit is about to go down. And then I've got the movie after that to tie up any other loose ends that might be out there, I hope. Anyway, these last 2 episodes have just been exceptional and it has got me so hyped for the finale. So come and tune in again to check out my reaction to that next week. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.